So we are talking to Anysia Marcell Kiel, and you are, can you tell me a little bit, who are you?
Sure. I'm an American author and also a healing medium. And that's a little bit different for those of your readers that are familiar with mediumship. A healing medium is different from a reading medium because when a client comes to me, I'm really the facilitator of energy, and I help them clear whatever is in their energetic field. I help bring things to their awareness and help them clear whatever they need to clear so they can heal themselves and live a better life. Clear any old patterns, experiences, any imprints, memories, emotions, things that are blocking them and getting in the way.
And how do you feel what's blocking? Like, if you can describe that feeling, can you sense it in somehow, or how can you pinpoint that?
Sure. I use all of my psychic senses. I was born at a very high frequency, so my senses have always been activated from the time I was a child. So I can see energy, I can feel it, I can hear any spirit energy that's present. So when I work in someone's field, I move around in their energy, and I can feel or see memories that are imprinted in their life that are getting in the way. I can feel shifts or blockages, and I help them become aware of what it is that they're storing.
That's fantastic. Have you had this ability all your life, and how have you curated it?
Actually, I was born to a very Catholic family, so that was challenging, being very open to spirits and seeing things and hearing things, because it didn't really fit into my family dynamic. But they learned to kind of accept it because that's how I am. So originally, I tried to shut it out for most of my life because I was taught that that's not right or correct. And then when my son was born and he had the same abilities as me, I started to embrace my abilities because I didn't want him to grow up feeling like there was something wrong with him, you know? So that's when I kind of started on my journey of accepting it. And then my hand chakras in the center of my palms, they opened up just on their own, and I could feel energy and sense energy. And then I just started working with the energy more. And then my daughter was born, who was also very spiritually aware, and her senses were very activated. So we just kind of embraced it. And it may not be for everyone, but that's the way we are. And we're open to it, and we accept it. These are tools that make life on earth much easier for us. So we embrace it, and we help others embrace it in themselves.
And that's actually, if I understand correctly, one of the messages in the book is to let people understand that they have the ability if they want to. Am I right?
Exactly. So even though I was born with my abilities activated, I'm not unlike anyone else. I was just born more aware than some other people. And everybody has these abilities within their own field. It's a matter of shifting your frequency and clearing what's in the way to utilize your abilities, but everyone has it. It's not like one person has it and someone else doesn't. We all have it. And if you want to use it, it's there.
And your book can help us find it.
Exactly. It can help you clear out whatever's in the way. Because one person can have a form of cancer, and then another person can have the same form of cancer, but the reasons why they're manifesting it can be totally different. So their healing journeys are totally different, but they can heal.
So where do you live? Where are you right now?
Oh, I'm in my home right now because it's actually very early in the US. It's only 7 o'clock in the morning. I live in a town called Bayville, which is just south of New York City. It's about an hour south of New York City.
So you live there with your 2 children, Brian and Briella?
Yes, Braden and Briella. My son Braden is 16, and my daughter Briella is 10.
How is he embracing his abilities now as a teenager? Is he still okay with, reading this book? He gives out himself. He's really proud of his abilities in front of his friends and stuff, and that's so cool.
It is, yeah, and he still is. Actually, just a few weeks ago, he was at a soccer or you call it football, right, in Sweden?
Yes.
The sport. So a football tournament with his girlfriend, because she plays that sport. She's quite good, and she hurt her knee in the game, and he took her to the side after the game, and because she had 2 games, it was a tournament. He took her to the side and he put his hands on her and he gave her energy, and he was helping heal her knee between the games. So it's very normal for my children to use their healing abilities to scan energy. This is just part of our lives.
That is so nice to hear, Anysia. Really. You are a model for the healing future.
I don't know if people are aware, but there are a lot of children that are born to the earth right now whose abilities are very activated, the way I was as a child. And I do have a group of about 30 children in this immediate area, and their ages 6 to 16. And they can see spirit energy, they can feel energy, they can hear people's thoughts before they say them. They're very aware, these children. And I teach their parents to support them, how to shield their energy, how to make them feel safe. So a couple times a year, I get what I call my old soul group, because that's what we call them. We get the children together for free workshops, and we meet at a park, and I go over whatever experiences they're having in school that they need assistance with. Like sometimes middle school is a big challenge because there's so much energy and kids can feel overwhelmed. And we go over what the challenges are, and then I give them some tools to make that easier. And then afterwards, the kids all hang out with each other and the moms, connect. So it's something we're creating here to support those children so they have the tools that they need and they don't feel weird or ostracized. It's not weird. It's very normal.
That sounds great. And it's nice to hear that the parents are actually also accepting this.
Oh, absolutely. Because they see it in their children, they just don't know how to help their children. So we give them the tools to help them.
What is your advice to everyone who would like to find their ability of healing for themselves or for others?
I would say the first thing to do is start meditating and going within. We get caught up in very earthbound things all the time. Things that are happening, turn on the news, you can become overwhelmed with the negative things you're seeing on TV. It's important to shut everything out and kind of go within and see what you need to do for yourself. That's the first thing, right? What do I need? Do I need to be more calm? Do I need more peace in my life? The basics, start with the basics. And meditation is an excellent tool to get in touch with that. It's about centering yourself, quieting everything, and listening to your soul. That's the first step.
Good. And then when you feel that you have done that a bit and you have a little bit of connection to your within, what then?
Then you can start balancing your energy. Everyone has the tools in the center of their palms, the hand chakras. These are the tools that we use to disseminate the information in our bodies, to balance the energy. So the next step would be to take your hand chakras, whichever ones, you can use both or one, and start balancing from the crown, third eye, throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus, sacral, and the root. Just give yourself energy for a couple minutes to each chakra every day. That's a basic alignment that you can do, and it could probably take about 10-15 minutes. You put your hand chakras on the tops of your legs, right?
Yeah.
And just envision all the energy and intend for all the energy to go from the top of your head all the way down to your feet. Energy follows intention. It's very simple. You intend for the energy in your field to go there, and it goes. Choose for the energy to go from the top of your head down to your feet, and then you'll feel it. And as you connect the bottoms of your feet to the ground, you are in fact grounded. You are centered. You are present in your life. That's something you can do every single day, just for a few minutes.
Yeah, it can be real quick actually, and maybe you can feel. Sometimes it can go quick, and sometimes maybe you need a couple of more minutes. Does that sound correct?
Absolutely, and grounding is essential because we get so caught up in everything going on in our lives. We're busy, we're rushing, right? We're always worried about what we need to do tomorrow. We're very rarely centered and present. Grounding is a way to force yourself to be present, right?
Yeah.
You pull all your energy down and you focus. That's something we should be doing every day,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Every morning, perhaps, to start a new day.
Yes, I actually, believe it or not, I am only able to help people as much as I am able to clear in my own field. So if I'm not a clear conduit of the energy, I can't assist other people. So my energy routine is daily and consistent and precise. So every day I do healing work in my own field. I will get up in the morning, I'll feed my dogs, I meditate as soon as I get up. After I do my first meditation in the morning, then I go work out. Then I'll eat something, and then I'll do a little more healing work on myself. I'll see what I need to clear. I'm also, after I work with my clients in the morning, I get on my own table in the office and do some healing work as well. So I probably do healing work about 3 or 4 times a day in my own energy, okay?
Wow.
And I do the same thing when I go to bed at night. Yeah. It's important because I can't help others if I have stuff in the way. That's sort of my routine. But then if certain things come up where I find I'm triggered by experiences, I'm triggered by something someone says, and by triggered, I mean, it throws me off emotionally. It makes me feel uncomfortable, or I feel upset about it. I need to take a look at what's happening there. Why do I feel this way? Is it something present, or is it something that's happened in the past that needs to heal in me? So I'm constantly looking at things with a state of awareness.
The situation for healing someone is probably different from person to person, and from situation to situation. So what situation is ideal for helping someone to heal?
Well, it's interesting that you just used those words because they're very accurate. I don't heal anyone. I help them heal themselves. That's very important. So people that are coming to me, they want to heal themselves.
Yeah.
They don't expect me to do it for them. They expect me to help them find what's in the way. An ideal situation is a person that's willing to do whatever work it takes to heal. That's an ideal situation. A person that's open and accepting and willing to do the work. And not everyone is.
Can you feel when that is not the case, when someone comes to you and because someone else told them you should go see Anysia, and you feel that this is not really the right thing because he or she doesn't really trust me, or whatever it can be? Can you feel that?
Actually, I could feel it, but it doesn't really happen. Number one, it's not very easy to get into the office. Usually there's a little bit of a wait, and people generally aren't coming and paying the money for the session if they really don't want to do the work. So it's people that may have manifested physical illness, or it's people that are running into blockages in their lives and they just have gotten to the point where they're so tired of being stuck. So they're coming so that I can help them get unstuck. you know, and get out of their own way. So I generally don't get people that don't want to do the work. They would go someplace else.
Yeah.
I don't even think my energy would draw them to me, you know?
No. Probably not. But still, yeah. So, what situation is hardest to heal, you think?
Sometimes when people have very deep trauma, like childhood trauma, they have carried that trauma for such a long time that it has become part of their identity and almost ingrained in their identity, that it's hard for them to let go of it. Especially trauma as a child, because they carry a lot of fear, you know, so you can actually see the part of that child in them that's broken. So there's almost a sadness in them letting that go, because they're afraid of what their life will look like if they let it go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's where trust, and I tell them they have to trust source, they have to trust the process, but it's really a leap of faith for people in that situation. In their late 60s that experience some very severe trauma at age 4 or 5. They've carried that for their entire life.
So let's spend a couple of minutes talking about Denmark. You have a special connection to Denmark.
I absolutely love it. I have to tell you, when I went there, I did meet a couple of my clients ahead of time, which really drew me to Denmark, because there was this huge following on my social media after the book came out. So I just contacted an organization that was hosting the trade show, and I said, I need to go there to support this audience. I feel I need to be there, you know? And when I got there, I really felt like I went home, because the energy and the value structure of the culture was so in line with my life. Just people that are conscientious of others, people that are caring of others. It's not a big ego culture collectively, you know? So I just felt very much aligned with them. And another huge thing was, when I got there, black licorice was a huge thing in Denmark, and that's like my favorite candy. So I was eating it the whole time I was there. But I really, so many of the people, truthfully, Alexandra, when I went there, there were so many of the people that I recognized their soul. Like I knew so many of the people already, you know? So it was like going home, you know? It was like meeting old friends again, you know?
I hope you will find the same, you will feel the same when you come to Sweden.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to coming to Sweden, and I've heard beautiful things about Stockholm. I have never been there in my life. I did go to Malmö.
Yeah.
Am I saying that correctly?
Yes. Yes, you
So
are.
I did go there for dinner the one night, and I enjoyed that. It's only like a 30-minute drive or 40-minute drive from downtown Copenhagen.
Yes.
So I drove in the one night, but I would love to see Stockholm.
You will love it here. So let's look a little bit into some other questions here. So you work out in the morning, you do healing prep, you do a lot of things during the day. So when you have some free time, what do you like to do then?
I actually just like to relax with my children and my dogs. True story. We will lay on the couch and watch movies. We'll snuggle, especially with my daughter. But I just like to be with my family and spend time with them. I mean, we go to the beach and do things, but we're together. I love being with my children. I never really started living until I had my children. I just was, because before all of that, I worked in the corporate world, and that was my kind of life. And then when I had my children, they just taught me about unconditional love, and it was the most amazing experience. So I just enjoyed spending all my time with them, being with them.
Coming back to the book, Discovering the Healer Within, why did you write it?
I wrote the book, well, first of all, I write books in general when I can't find the information I'm looking for out in the world. I write my own books because I see there is a need for the information. So people will say to me, well, did you read this, or what do you read? I can't always find what I want. So that's when I know I need to write something new. you know? So the healer within, I felt, was sort of a rudimentary guide for healing, which had my journey, but how others found their own healing abilities along the way. And I really felt that everybody needs to understand this is an innate part of who you are. It's part of your energy. And everybody can utilize it if they want. They just don't always know what's in the way, and they don't know how to use their abilities. So this is sort of a handbook for people to be able to tap into their own abilities.
And if you are already, if you're already aware of your abilities, maybe you're actually using them already as a healer, can you still get something out of this book?
Yeah, because the activities are unique in there. The exercises aren't things that you're going to find on the internet. They're very specific. So, and it's meant to be that way. The other thing about the book is that there are several different types of exercises, because at least I feel there isn't one specific healing method that works for everyone across the board, because everyone is vibrating at a different frequency. So there are a couple of different clearing exercises. There are a couple of different balancing and aligning exercises. And what works for one person might not work for someone else. So there are different exercises because everybody's working at different paces.
Good. That sounds like a book for everyone.
Exactly. That's what it's meant to be.
How do you, as an experienced healer, keep yourself up to date and improve your skills?
Well, I do that every day, like I mentioned earlier. I balance and align my energy every day. I have to go within every day. And there are times when I shut down completely when I'm working through a very big shift. And I will put on my social media, I'm going offline for the next week. I'm working through a big shift, because when I clear a lot of stuff, then a new frequency comes in. And that's an upgrade in my energy. And then some of my clients will upgrade to that energy as well. So sometimes when I move in big shifts, I'm helping my clients move that way too. So I have to do that work, or else I can't assist these people that I'm supposed to work with.
It sounds like it takes a lot of awareness and consciousness to actually do what you feel is right in that moment. Maybe you have to cancel appointments, or I mean, that you cannot plan for that to happen, really.
Ironically, I have to say that my spirit team and the universe always kind of makes that happen as it should, because I'll have a few days where there aren't any clients, and then all of a sudden I'm working through something very big. Or, you know, this past week something similar happened and I had a few days off. And ironically, I was working through this gigantic shift of the energy. And I said, oh, okay, well, this is as it should be, you know? So it's not usually something I have to put too much human effort into. It just aligns as it should.
The universe works in your favor.
Yes, it 100% does, as long as I get myself out of the way and allow, right?
Exactly, your ego. That's
I
nice.
don't resist the process. I trust that there's a process unfolding, and I move through it accordingly.
That sounds like a smart act for you, for everyone. In your book, there are quite a few exercises. So you tell a story, you go through different themes of healing, and you tell a personal story. Many times we can actually read about other people's healing journeys, so we can understand that we're not alone in the situation that we are in. And you add an exercise to each chapter, and in the end of the book you have a quite long list of exercises. Most of them we only need our mind to do it, or a place to relax, and so on. And one or two exercises you include tools in terms of smudging and crystals.
Mm-hmm.
So how
in the house exercises.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So, for example, looking at crystals, I was thinking I should ask you, what are your favorite crystals and how do you use them for healing?
My favorite crystals are clear quartz, because they are technically the highest vibrating crystal that we know of on the earth plane right now. So when I create a grid in the house or in my office, I use clear quartz points, and the points emit a beam of energy. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's sort of a laser beam of that frequency coming out of the end of that point. So when we put the points in a formation, they create a field, an energetic field that's vibrating at a certain frequency. Okay, so we use small clear quartz points like 1 to 2 inches when we're gridding a home or an office space, because anything bigger than that might generate too much energy and make people feel overwhelmed. So we use the small ones. But what we do when we put them in that field is that now everything in that space is vibrating at that frequency. And clear quartz is a special crystal because it's self-cleansing, which means you don't have to constantly take it down and re-cleanse it and cleanse the imprints. And it's also self-generating. So once you set the points in the home, it just keeps generating the energy, and you don't have to do anything else. It just does its thing. So in my home space, I have a master grid that's the size of the house. You know, if you have a square home or a rectangular home, you would need 4 pieces downstairs, 1 in each corner of the home. Then if you have a secondary level, you would need 4 more. So for each level, you would put 4 crystals. Yeah, it's energy. So the density doesn't matter. You know, it's the frequency that's going through the walls. So, but once it's set, it keeps cleansing the energy, and it keeps everything at that frequency. So you don't have to do anything else to it. That's it. And you will notice after you set the grid, about a half hour later, you'll come into the space and it will feel differently to you. You can tangibly feel it.
That's nice. And just to be clear, the clear crystal quartz, it's the white crystal. Sometimes it can be a bit milky, right?
Sometimes it can be a little milky, but it's primarily clear, like it almost looks like glass.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. In Swedish, it's called bergkristall. Is there something you want to say to your Swedish becoming readers? Because this is your first book in Swedish.
Yes. I really hope that they enjoy the book. I hope they find the exercises useful and can connect with it. I feel that they will, based on the frequency of the culture. And I'm really looking forward to meeting them.
Great, thank you. Anysia, it means so much for us to have you supporting this launch. It's not always that way, because I know that authors are very busy and live a busy life, trying to be the best that they are and also support a whole world of readers. So I am truly happy for all the support that you can do.
And I do feel that the book can help a lot of people. So it's my job to promote it and help people understand what it's about. So thank you. I appreciate the joint effort. I appreciate the support. So
wonderful.
I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope the day is beautiful.
Yes, you too.
You know?
Have a nice week.
Namaste, Alexandra.
Namaste.
Yes.